This video is about three sets problems. So that is what we call a Venn diagram, right? This is going to base on something like elective math. Okay, so maybe a further mathematics, right? So that's the meaning of this elective math. It tells us we are adding something small to the part of the core, right? So maybe the core math and maybe the core aspects. So this is a little bit into this, just some small part, some small trick in addition to that. And before we dive into the questions that we are going to introduce in solving the three set problem in the elective math here, let's have a simple understanding of a Venn diagram. The meaning of this Venn diagram is to avoid duplication, right? So that is something from my personal opinion, right? So what I mean by duplication is that people that are doing two or three things at the same time, right? So restricting ourselves to the high school level, that goes beyond. It doesn't go beyond three, right? So it doesn't go beyond three in this case. Now, why the meaning is that you have to make sure that you know exactly how you are starting and where you are going. So what I'm trying to say here is that this is the symbol of what a Venn diagram. Mostly, this is a rectangular box that we use to represent a Venn diagram. So the way I see this thing is that I consider that to be an apartment, right? So this was the whole apartment that we can have. So in that apartment, let's say we have three different sorts. If this is the whole estate or maybe the apartment in it, maybe let's say we have three different sort. Maybe let's say bedrooms or maybe something of that nature. Maybe we can consider this one to be the whole estate, right? So the whole maybe estate here, right? So estate, and if this is the whole estate, and then this could be the apartment within, right? So we have three different apartments. Maybe that makes a little bit sense here, right? So here's what the whole estate here. So the rectangular box here is the estate, and then we have three different apartments and that is the whole estate. So for sure, you know that this is something we call what a youth, which is a universal. So that tells me that everybody is inside that estate, right? So maybe this could be the estate one. Maybe let's say your estate. So let me represent that by your estate. Maybe your father's. This one could be your apartment, right? Is that okay? So this Y here stand for your apartment in this case, and then the F here stand for your father's apartment. For sure, you can see that this could be your mother's apartment, right? So this could be your mother. So three different apartments over here. Is that okay? Your father's apartment, your apartment, and this is the whole estate, right? So this is the whole estate. You see, what happens is that tomorrow maybe your mother may not sleep in her room, and then she may go to your father's room, or maybe and the vice versa. You can decide to sleep everywhere, right? So to avoid this issue, that is why we bring in the vendor to see exactly where each person belongs to. Now, the first step in here is that you must know that the people that will be here, people that will be here and here, as well as here, here, and then finally what here. So if you're able to grab this concept, I can guarantee that there's no question in what in Venn diagram that you can never solve. Is that okay? Now for sure, this goes for only you, right? So only you are the only person that can sleep in this room, right? So here, this is your apartment. Is that okay? So how many rooms before we proceed? How many rooms are in your apartment? So we have room number one, room number two, room number three, as well as room number four. So you can see the circle here, right? So when I bring this circle out here, so it goes like something like this, right? And then maybe and then like this. Is that okay? So maybe let's say we are just seeing the structure of what your apartment. So how many rooms? So one, two, three, and then four rooms, right? So I believe the same applies to the rest of the apartment here. Does it make sense? Okay, perfect. So if it makes sense, so meaning that if these are four different rooms in your apartment, then you are going to sleep here. This is the only you. Nobody else can sleep in this room apart from you. So what about it? So here you can say that you can sleep here, and father can also sleep in that room. Does it make sense? So here's what your room here, and then your father's room is also is also here. Your only your father can also sleep in this room, and then here only your mother can also sleep in this room, right? So for this portion here, what do you think? So maybe your father and your mother may sleep here, right? So they can you can never jump all over from this point and come and sleep here. It's not possible. It's okay. It's not possible in this case, right? So where your father and your mother are sleeping, we don't need your presence there. Okay, it makes sense now. So the same applies to this portion. So you and your mother can only sleep here, and then maybe you and your father can only sleep here. Once you grab this concept, I believe you are free to go. Maybe you are 50% done with all the problems, right? So remember, this is the whole estate. So someone may choose to, maybe if you have a visitor, a family member, and so on and so forth, that person may choose to sleep outside. He or she doesn't belong to any of the rooms here, right? So that person can sleep or outside here. Is that okay? So that person can sleep outside. So now for now, count the number of the rooms that we have on the Venn diagram, and then give me that in the comment section below, right? So how many rooms are there? Okay, once you're able to identify all these things here, maybe you are free to go. Now let's see how to we can tackle a pure exams questions. According to the question, we were told that in a survey of 100 outpatients, right? So 100 out, 100, right? So 100 outpatients here, right? So we have 100 outpatients here. So this relates to maybe a hospital and so and maybe a clinic or something of that nature, right? Okay, so 100 patients here. So meaning that, is it your step here before you even come to the event diagram, right? So make sure that you gather all the information so given to you in that case, which I believe by watching the further mathematics questions like this, I believe you have these ideas on what's from the core aspect, right? So the previous one. If you don't have any idea, maybe I will leave a link down below in the description. Try and watch that playlist. We have everything that you must know relating to what three set problems. So try and watch that and have a clear understanding on how to list down all these intro before we get to the Venn diagram. Now, without further ado, let's get to the Venn diagram aspect here. So now, for sure, this is going to be our shape. This pen is almost finished here. So now we have a very simple and a very nice a Venn diagram here. So this is the shape of the Venn diagram, right? Okay, so that's the shape here. As I just said, and then out of this, we are going to have how many apartments in this estate here. So we have three different apartments. So let me draw this thing very nicely. So this is what my Venn diagram here. So for sure, the first part here, so the first apartment goes for according to the question. So let's start with two. So in the survey of 100 outpatients reported at a hospital, right? So you have you here, which is the universal. So universal here gives the whole estate, right? So how many people are there? 100, right? So 100 here, right? So 100 people are in the estate. Now, what happens? What is the arrangement here? So that is the hospital in this case, relating to our question, right? So it was found out 70 complain of what? Fever. So that is, so what we use there, we just use the initial letters of anything that you are dealing with. So that is the F here. So F for the first set here, that is equal to how many people? 70, right? So 70 people complain of what? Fever. And then we also have what? 50 had stomach issue, right? So 50 had a stomach issue. So here we can say that this is equal to 50. And then finally we have those that are complaining, or maybe those that are injured, right? So according to the question, so that is the I here, injured people. How many are they? 30. Is that okay? So 30. So you have 70, 50, and then 30. But look at just look at something here. We also that in the whole estate, that's the whole hospital here. How many people are reported? 100 people are reported. But if you sum this and these two people, they give us already 100 plus this one, make it to 150. That means that some people are suffering from two or more things, right? So that was what I said at the beginning of the video, that we want to avoid the duplications, right? So to solve that issue, that was where we come up with a Venn diagram. Okay, so perfect. So what is the next thing here? So the question further says that all the 100 patients had at least one of the complaints, right? So and the 44 had exactly two of the complaints. So that is something that we are going to tackle here. So reading solving this concept here, you must read everything line by line and then write down what it means, right? So we are told that at least everybody that reported at the hospital, they had one complaint, they have one issues, right? So maybe if you don't have an issue, what are you going to do at the hospital, right? Okay, so here you have a yeah, we are making sure that all the 100 people are suffering from what maybe one disease, right? Okay. Now we are told that 44 of them 44 of them complain exactly of two issues. So maybe let's say it can be this and this, or maybe it can be this and this, right? So two exactly. So what that means here is that if you say you enjoy maybe let's say rice and what and salad, rice and salad only, right? So if you say you enjoy rice and salad only, so what are we are trying to say here is that you don't eat anything apart from this rice and salad. Right, so these are the two things that you are suffering from, or maybe you enjoy it here. Now, these people are suffering from. These guys are suffering from stomach issue. This guy is also suffering from maybe this guy has been. You are the same person that you injured, and then at the same time you are suffering from stomach issue. So you are suffering from two things only. Now, on this Venn diagram, if you say that only two things, we mean this portion. So this is the portion that we are talking about here, here, right? Only two people, only two things. You are doing only two. You don't do three. You don't do one. You don't do nothing. So you do only two. So these are your rooms. Also, these three things are your room here. So for sure, as I said earlier on, here this portion is going to be the fever and the stomach people here, right? So if you know that you are suffering from two diseases, maybe fever and the stomach, you are going to be here, right? Now, we are not giving any number. We are just giving the total. So the number of people who suffer from what only the two items are what are 44. Maybe two diseases there, they are 44, right? 44, that is equal to exactly two, let's say maybe two maybe sickness, right? So maybe some two sickness, let's call it that way, right? So 44, that is good for two sickness only, exactly two, right? So exactly two. If you are not giving something in mathematics, what you do here is that you make sure that you use a variable to represent that. Does it make sense? If you are not giving any exact figure in mathematics, what are we are going to do here is that we use a variable. So we can say that this A here, let's call here A, because we know that fever and stomach people, they belong to this portion, and then here can be B, and then here can also can be C, right? So that is very simple and straightforward. So what are we are trying to say there? So since we are giving the total figure of the exactly two people here, so here this portion plus this one is going to be F44, right? So A plus or plus B plus C, and that's equal to F44. I don't know if this makes sense. By the way, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Yeah, subscribe to our channel right now, right? Right now, a comment down below if you want to see anything more or on that set. Okay, now let's proceed. That is just for the meaning of that sentence, right? Okay, now what again are we giving? And then they say the question. This is what they are asking. All that we are doing from up to this point here is just that we are gathering the information given to us. So the key step is to make sure that where everybody belongs to on this Venn diagram, right? Okay, now this is the question. So how many patients had all the three complaints? That is that is all that we are heading to. So how many people had all the three complaints? Where do they belong to on the vendor? They belong here, right? So you know all these things. Is that okay? So I'm using X to represent that. So for sure you have to indicate that. That's why I say you should watch that playlist down below on to see how to represent all these things, right? So we can say that let X here be the number of people who what suffered or maybe complain about all the three issues. Is that okay? Okay, now perfect. Now, that is the only thing that we are having, right? So what again? We don't have any information. So how can we tackle this problem and find the number of people who suffered from all this three information? Since we have all the information given to us, this is what they're asking us to find right now, right? Okay, so the way of doing it under normal circumstances, if you sum everything here, everything in this apartment, everything in this apartment, as well as everything in this apartment, then what we are going to have is what is 100 here. Is that okay? So let's do that. So by doing that, we say that we can sum. You can easily say that the 70 here, right? So the 70 and then plus what 30 here and then plus 50, right? So this 70 plus the 30. So I mean everything here. And then plus what another 50 here. And then look at what is happening. So within the apartment here, there are duplications. So you must take out that duplications, right? So those who are doing two things, those who are doing three things at the same time. Here we are not going to count them twice or maybe three times, right? So you just need to count them once. So what I'm trying to say, let's say five of you plays or maybe let's say five of you plays or maybe let's say a football because I'm a football fan, right? So you can think of anything, right? Five of you play football. So out of these five here, we say that let's say three of you enjoy tennis, right? So tennis in this case. So if you want to see people that enjoy football only, right? So football only, they don't play tennis here. And we want to be two here. Does it make sense? That would be two. Is that okay? But if you want to sum everything together, how many people are we dealing with? We are just dealing with five people, right? So we are dealing with five people. So if you add this and this one, that's going to be eight, right? So eight, which is more than necessary because these two people are doing two things. They are enjoying football at the same time or table tennis, right? So you need to take out these people out so that you can see exactly the number of people that participated in the whole issue. So in this case, there are five. That's the idea that we are sending to this portion. So we need to take out those who are doing the two things here, right? And then as well as those who are doing the three things. Is that okay? Okay, now so this should be all subtracted by taking out those who are doing the two things, right? So those who are doing exactly two things, right? So that is what we are giving A, and then B, and then C. These people here, and then as well as those who are doing the three things. But look at something. This guy here, pay close attention. This guy here is doing, or maybe he's or she is suffering from what? All the three diseases, right? So fever, stomach, and as well as injured. So this guy is doing all the three. Now, remember, when we are counting in this case, we are going to count this guy three times, right? So how many times have we counted these people? We are counting them two times, right? So since we are counting them two times, then it means that this guy here is part of these two people because he or she is doing all the three things. Does it make sense? If you have any issue, make sure that you comment in the comment section below, right? So make sure that you comment. This guy is doing all the three things. So you are suffering from all these three things. If you want to count those that are doing the two things here, it's likely that you have to count you out of that, right? You must count it because you are doing all the three things. And then these people are doing all just what two things here. So you've already taken those who are doing the two things here. Then we have to take you out again. So you are going to take those that are doing the three things out here, right? So taking you out here, we've already counted you once here out of these two people, right? So out of these two, we've already counted you once. So we are left with just two, right? So you here, you are three. So since you are three, we are counting these people. These people are doing all the three things, all the two things. So taking them out, counting you in addition, make sure that we've already counted you once. So we are left with just two. So that's why we are going to subtract two of the exit, right? So just manage so two of the exit. Does it make sense? So we are going to subtract to two of the x here. So meaning that two of those are just everything is equal to 100. Right? So everything is going to be equal to 100. So in some cases, you should have counted this guy three times. So counting it three times, you've already taken out those who are doing just two of the items, right? So that is what very, very, very simple. So those who are suffering from what three things, you've already taken them. And that is why we subtracted two of the exit. Right? So everything we know that everybody in that hospital sum up to 100. So this is something simple that we are going to gather together. So you have our 70. So 70 plus or plus 30 and then plus 50. What is the value of these people here? So they were what? They were 44, right? So they give us in the question to be what? 44, right? So 44 Let me use a different pen here so that you can see clearly. So minus of effort for here. So let me continue with this pen, right? So that is going to be minus of 2x and then everything is equal to 100, right? So let's do these calculations here. So by summing everything together here, we should have what this is 100 or 150, right? So 150 and then minus of 44 and then minus of 2x, everything is equal to what? 100. So this guy minus that is going to be 106, right? So 106 here and then minus of 2x, that is equal to 100. We know where we are going to, so we are going to let's say subtract 100 from both sides of the equation. So we have you know how to solve this, right? So that is equal to 6 here, so minus 2x, and that is equal to 0. Remember, we are looking for the x here, so taking this guy to the other side of the equation, or maybe subtract minus 2s to maybe add what minus 2s to both sides of the equation. Whichever way you want to solve this problem is totally accepted, right? So you have 6 here, that is equal to 2s. So we divide both sides by what? By 2, and then divide here by 2. We had our x to be equal to 3, right? So the value of the people, or the number of people who are suffering from all the three or disease here is 3, right? So your concept here, you must understand where you are going and what you are playing and where to place everybody on this Venn diagram.